Whiskey. And it's Wednesday night, and it's the 7th of May in Tasmania, Australia, and we are moving into winter. And so we can expect snow tonight down to 500 meters. Okay, San Francisco, 2 o'clock in the morning, New York, 5 o'clock, and Paris, 11 o'clock, Tokyo, 6 o'clock, and in Sydney, Australia, it's now 7 p.m. So, welcome to week 9 of the slow Morse course. This is Nick, VK7 Whiskey with the club call sign VK7 Tango Alpha Zulu on behalf of the Northern Tasmanian Amateur Radio Club. Now, over the next 30 minutes, we cover some abbreviations, pro signs, and basic punctuation. SOS, CT, AR, that's beginning of transmission, end of transmission. Of course, the context separator, da-di-di-di-da. AS, which means wait, SK, sign clear, error, comma, period, and the forward slash. And plain text. Now, when we get to the plain text tonight, there will be a gradual increase in speed. Next week, week 10, is the last formal lesson in the slow Morse course. And next week, I'll be talking about how to hold a Morse key, making the transition from writing to head work. That is, from writing the text down that you're receiving to doing it in your head, and having a cheat sheet to assist you with your first few contacts. I'll also be talking about your first DIY or homebrew CW transmitter, and I'll make mention of the GQRP Club and Sprat magazine, as well as the VK QRP Club and the Low Key magazine. Now, let's get back to the CW. Sending speeds. Never send faster than you can receive. Never send faster than you can receive. In fact, it's been suggested that perhaps what you should do is actually send about 75% speed of what you're comfortable with. Now, next week I'll be making reference to a United States Navy training video on the technique of hand-sending Morse code, which was actually made in 1944. And then there's also another one about how to operate a straight key with your wrist. But tonight we're going to talk about abbreviations, which are similar to texting and email abbreviations when you text on your phone. Okay, now, we're just about to break into some CW. I won't be sending SOS, but SOS is considered a pro sign. It's not did-it-it, da-da-da, did-it-it. It's actually did-it-da-da-da, did-it-it. Did-it-da-da-da, did-it-it. And the other pro signs are start of transmission, da-di-da-di-da, end of transmission, di-da-di-da-dit, and you know the context separator because we've been using it anyway, da-di-di-di-da. Alpha Sierra, the two letters joined, di-da-di-di-dit, is wait, and the next one is SK, sign clear. Doesn't mean you're a silent key, it means signing clear. Di-di-di-da-di-da, not di-di-di-da-di-da, di-di-di-da-di-da. And of course, we've already made mention of the error code. That's 8 dits. Dit-dit-dit-dit-dit-dit-dit. When you get used to it, you see you can do it that fast. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, N. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, Dit, 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 dit. Okay? Then there's the comma, da, da, di, di, da, da. The full stop or period, di, da, di, da, di, da. and the forward slash, da-di-di-da-dit, da-di-di-da-dit, and the question mark, di-di-da-da-did-it, di-di-da-da-did-it. And I'm going to go through each of those first, each one once, except for SOS. I'm not sending SOS. And then I'll go through each one 3 times. Then I'm going to go through an example of not calling CQ, but perhaps calling another station and the sorts of exchanges you can expect. So there will be a complete contact for you to copy. Right, please stand by. This is VK7 Tango Alpha Zulu switching to CW. Okay, Nick back with you on voice. Now, did you copy it? I started off with beginning of transmission. That's the pro sign Charlie Tango. Da-di-da-di-da. And then I moved to the end of transmission. Di-da-di-da-dit. A and R, Alpha and Romeo, conjoined. Then, of course, there was the context separator, which is Bravo Tango, also known as the equal sign, da-da-di-di-da. You know that one. And then Alpha Sierra. Now, I purposely sent those with a gap between them, but there shouldn't be a gap. Alpha Sierra means wait. AS, did-a-did-it, not did-a-did-it as I sent it. That was to make you very much aware of how the letters are joined together. So SK, sign clear, di-di-di-da-di-da. Sierra Kilo, di-di-di-da-di-da, signing clear. And then, of course, the error message, which I did at different speeds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Dit, 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 dit. Dit, 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 dit. And then there's the comma. Da, da, di, di, da, da. The full stop or period. Di, da, di, da, di, da. And the forward slash. Da, di, di, da, dit. And the question mark. Di, di, da, da, did it? Did-di-da-da, did it? Now, the most important ones there that you really should learn are, of course, signing clear. You already know the context separator. Da-di-di-di-da. Signing clear. Di-di-di-da-di-da. After you've said 7 threes and you're given call signs, you're signing clear. You're going off to have another contact. Now, the other one, apart from the error message, which we tend to use quite frequently, or the alternative is not to send the error message, but where you made a mistake in a word, just go back and repeat that word. The other station, I'm sure, will get the hang of it. And then, of course, there's the forward slash, da-di-di-da-di, because you might be going forward slash M for mobile, maritime mobile, aeronautical mobile, P for portable, who knows, da-di-di-da-di, the forward slash. And then, of course, if you're asking a question, diddy-da-da-diddy, diddy-da-da-diddy, the question mark. Right, now what we're going to do is get into a contact, a full contact calling another station, and I am going to slightly increase the speed by the time we get to the end of this session. Right, here we go. I'm going to have a contact with VK3 Alpha Charlie uniform, and I'm going to send what I would expect him to send and what I'm going to send. So work your way through this whole contact and you'll see how to have a contact by calling another station. Right, here we go. This is VK7 Tango Alpha Zulu switching to CW. Okay, I've just called VK3ACU. I've given him my call sign 3 times to hopefully make sure he gets it, because I don't know what the conditions are like, and I've said K for kilo for over. Let's continue. Now he's replying to me. Okay, did you get that? So he gave my call sign, then his, and he said Golf Echo, which means good evening. And then he sent TKS, Tango Kilo Sierra. Thanks, good evening, thanks. SER, Foxtrot Echo Romeo, which is an abbreviation for call. Good evening, thanks for call. Uniform Romeo is UR, readability, strength and tone, RST, and he gave me 599, and then he repeated it as 5N for November, N for November, which is an abbreviated way of saying 599. Then he sent the context separator and threw it right back to me. VK7WW, DE of or from VK3ACU, over, K for kilo or over. And then I go back to him and this is what I send. What I sent back to him was VK3ACU, this is VK7 Whiskey Whiskey, DE, or from VK7 Whiskey Whiskey, context separator, da-da-di-di-da, TNX, Tango November X-ray, which is a different abbreviation for thanks, FER for Foxtrot Echo Romeo, report, Romeo Papa Tango, thanks for the report, and then I sent Uniform Romeo, UR, RST, readability, strength and tone, 599, 599. I'm not as sophisticated as an operator as he is because he sent me 5 November, November, which is an abbreviated way of saying 599. I then sent the context separator and I said, Op Nick, Oscar Papa, November India Charlie. Operator is Nick, and I sent it twice in Lagana, that's my QTH, Lagana, Whiskey India Delta, which is an abbreviation for with, 5 whiskey, 5 watts, and I repeated it, 5W, 5 watts, Echo Sierra, meaning and, that's an abbreviation for and, Echo Sierra, and 40 Mike or Mexico, 40M, 40 meters that stands for, dipole, and then I sent Bravo Kilo for break. Let's see what he comes back with. This is VK7 Tango Alpha Zulu with the slow Morse course, switching back to CW. he came back to me and he said, "Fine business, Nick." That's Foxtrot Bravo. Name HR, name here, Jordan. He repeated his name twice. QTH, 40K north of Melbourne. 40 Kilo, November, Oscar Foxtrot, Mike Echo Lima Bravo, an abbreviation for Melbourne. Then he sent the context separator and he said 4W, 4 watts, to a DBL, meaning double, and then X-ray Tango Echo November Delta, double extend Zulu Echo Papa Alpha November Tango, which is an abbreviation for 4 watts to a double extended ZEP antenna. He sent the context separator, sent my call sign, and then DE of or from VK3 ACU, and sent the letter K for over. Right. Well, we're almost over with this contact. Here we go, switching to CW. Please stand by. Right. So I went back to him, VK3 ACU, DE of or from VK7 Whiskey, QSL Jordan, all understood, Tango Uniform, thank you, Foxtrot Echo Romeo, for Golf Uniform Delta, good QSO. Thanks for the great contact. Context separator, 73s, best wishes, and good DX. Echo Sierra, abbreviation for and, good, Golf Uniform Delta, DX. Charlie Uniform, CU, Alpha Golf November, again, 73s. Context separator, VK3 Alpha Charlie Uniform, from or DE, VK7 Whiskey, Sierra Kilo, signing clear. And he comes back with this. Now, did you get that? He added an extra couple of bits on the end. What he said was VK3 Whiskey Whiskey, WW to VK3ACU. Okay, Tango Uniform, thank you, Nick. Okay, thank you, Nick. Context separator. And then he sent CONDX, Charlie Oscar November Delta X-ray, conditions, an abbreviation for conditions. Victor Yankee, conditions vary, Golf Uniform Delta. Conditions very good. Then he sent the context separator again and he said Tango Uniform, thank you. Foxtrot Echo Romeo for QSO. 73s, VK7 Whiskey Whiskey, DE of or from, VK3 Alpha Charlie Uniform, signed clear, Sierra Kilo. And then he sent DIT. And CW operators often send, as a little confirmation to end the contact, another DIT back. And VK7 Whiskey Whiskey would reply with another DIT. Or, if you wanted to do something really special, DIT, and wait for the other station to come back and go DIT. That is from an old song way back called Shave and a Haircut. DIT. Okay. So if you hear somebody come back to you and go DIT, and at the end of it they're just waiting for you to come back and go DIT, but it's become abbreviated. So what happens is that at the end of a contact we often slip in a little DIT, and the other station comes back and says DIT. Right, that's it for this week. Next week, week 10, will be the last week of the slow Morse course. How to hold a Morse key, making the transition from writing to head work, having a cheat sheet to assist you with your first few contacts, your first DIY homebrew CW transmitter, the GQRP Club and Sprat magazine, the VKQRP Club and Low Key magazine. Now it takes commitment, dedication, strength of character, confidence and determination to use CW. So congratulate yourself for having got this far. Well done. Don't forget the resources, the ARRL, the RSGB on the frequency of 3.699, the Wireless Institute of Australia with VK2 Whiskey India, and Tuesday nights with the Slow Morse course. Slow Morse Net on 40 meters run by VK2 Kilo India, Mark, and you'll find his email on qrz.com. Thank you so much to Jordan, who is streaming this live on YouTube, and look forward to catching up with you next week. This is VK7 Tango Alpha Zulu club call sign for the Northern Tasmanian Amateur Radio Club, now signing clear of this frequency and dipping down to 3567 to run the technical net. VK7 Tango Alpha Zulu is clear and QSY.